The first one is understanding the levels to the game. You may have heard the saying, there's levels to this shit. And then that's going to help understand the bull case for AI. So, as an example, I've been running pretty damn hard recently. So, I've hit a certain level. Okay. Now, I can run a marathon decently easily, but by no means am I great, right? I'm a pretty good runner, but I'm not great. Compared to the average person, though, can they run a marathon decently, easily, without stopping? Their answer is no. So there's a level to it, okay? So am I better than the average person at running? Obviously, the answer is yes. So if I'm to put myself on a scale, let's just say I'm here, okay? And then let's just say the average person is well below me down here, okay, when it comes to running. Now, you can do this with every area of life. There's different levels, and it's really important to see the reality for what it is. And then, based on that reality, then we can use that data for different things like predictions or whatever it happens to be. Now, say I'm here. And the average person is here, there is a gap, all right? There's a gap in the level of ability. Now, if I can run a marathon quite comfortably, where am I in the grand scheme of things to the greats? The greats are trying to crack 2 hours at the moment. I can run a marathon in it's not even that fast. I can probably do it in 4 hours. I haven't tried recently. My record, I think, is like 4 hours and 45 minutes or something. So it's okay. All right. It's okay. I've just completed a marathon. I'm not fast. So the gap between me and the greats is probably greater than this gap, right? That's the reality. So maybe the greats are up here. Okay. So there is levels. So by no means do I say, hey, like I am a unbelievable runner. I say I'm a decent runner and every day I'm progressing and I'm happy with that. Can I ever become a great? It's actually impossible. One, I don't have the genetics. One, it's another reason is it's literally too late. I'm 32. I only started out running, in the last year or so. So it's literally impossible. The best of all time, they start when they're little kids and they dedicate their whole entire life to running. Like it's game over. Now, that's the levels, okay? That's the levels here. Now, you can do the same thing with intelligence. Like the human mind, there's different levels. Like people will always want to tell us that, hey, all humans are equal. There's genetics involved, okay? There's genetics involved when it comes to running. There's genetics involved when it comes to intelligence. Some people, and it's controversial to say this, but they have a different capacity when it comes to the human mind, okay? So, as an example, I'm decently smart. I believe I'm smarter than the average person, okay? You can argue against or for, you know, but I believe I'm a little bit smarter than the average person. So, again, it probably puts me here, and let's just say the average person is here, okay? Now, you can kind of also put this on a distribution curve. Like there's going to be some outliers that sadly are to the lower end of that, and there are outliers to the top end of that. Just like there is with running, you can do that with absolutely everything. Now, in this example, I've chosen two games or two things that I'm luckily pretty all right at, okay? If I were to choose something like dancing, I am probably the lowest end of the scale. Like, I literally hate dancing. I'm never going to dance. I suck at it. I don't understand music. Okay. I don't understand the whole thing. My brain just does not work in that way at all. Okay. So I absolutely suck. And there's many, many things at which I suck. I'm actually more all in, when it comes to business and investing type of stuff, when it comes to these knowledge based games. And then when it comes to the fitness side, yeah, I'm all right as well. Okay. Now, if I'm here when it comes to the investing business knowledge based stuff, then if we're talking about that, who's up here? It's people like Elon Musk, okay? The gap is bigger than the gap from me and the average person, okay? So I understand where I stand. Now, what can we do with this information? With this information, me, I'm not going to try to compete in a place where it requires a great deal of intelligence. Like if you're creating some sort of technology company like Elon Musk has, why? Why are all of Elon Musk companies have to do with technology and engineering and all of that? Because that's what he's good at, okay? And he wants to compete in those spaces because he's literally the best, like he's pretty damn good at what he does. He's a top tier elite marathon runner or elite, in this field of business. Okay. So he focuses on these technology businesses. I don't want to. Like, I'll invest in them and I'll invest in these people that I know for a fact are a lot smarter than me. And I don't mind parking my capital with them. And that gives me a great deal of trust and a feeling of safety because I'm like, dude, I know I'm pretty smart. These guys are way smarter than me, like an order of magnitude, like it's a huge scale, right? So actually, it's humbling, but I also feel very confident in copying these people and just investing where they invest. I just like to follow where they park their money, park my money there too, and that's kind of leads to what I do on eToro. So I invest in like around 40 to 50 different companies, and what I like to do is I can't actually understand all the intricacies of the companies, but what I'm pretty good at is looking at the CEOs and the founders and the management team and seeing how smart they are. And if I can see that there is a massive, massive gap, then that's probably like my first tick of approval. That's probably like a green flag that I should maybe think about investing in that company. Now, this is the scale so far. These are the levels to the game. This is how it then relates to AI. Okay. AI in many, many, many things, like let's say about writing, right? AI is above me, right? At producing ideas, AI is above me, okay? I know that for a fact. And where was it like 3 years ago? It was like down here. So you're telling me in 3 years, it already has started to gap me? So what we can do is now we can start to plot the trend. And the trend is crazy because the trend isn't linear. The trend is actually exponential. It's actually really, really hard to articulate what exponential actually is. So it's my belief in the next 10-ish years or so, I'm not exactly sure, but AI is probably going to overtake these people like Elon Musk. Okay. So I honestly believe, like at the moment, I manage the portfolio on eToro. I believe in the future there will be AI that's a lot smarter than me that can do probably a better job than me. Okay. Now I generate like a 1.5% fee from the total capital invested into the portfolio. So I get a benefit. I think I probably won't get a benefit in the future because an AI will take my job and it will actually be probably smarter to invest in that AI and what it does. Now, that could be wrong. I'm kind of weighing it up like, what is it? I actually don't know. I'm just saying it's a bit of a coin flip at the moment. It's like a 50-50 chance within the next 10 years. Could be wrong on that. I don't actually don't know the true probabilities. But that's another key lesson is like to be able to see the world in numbers and see the world in probabilities. But imagine like if we just push out the time horizon, if AI is going up exponentially in intelligence, eventually it just hits this level. Like maybe it's in 20 years. Like, will AI be smarter than me at investing in 20 years? I'm pretty damn confident it will be. Like 20 years ago, I was 12. A lot has changed in the world since then, since I was 12. Okay. Pretty damn sure AI is going to be a lot smarter than me. So I actually think that, the gold standard of investing right now is investing in something like an index fund, right? The S&P 500. What is the S&P 500? It's the top 500 companies in the US in a singular bucket, or like, they call it an index. Okay. Now that's just a very simple mathematical formula. Okay. It just holds by weighting the biggest market cap thing. It has a bigger percentage in that bucket and that's it. And it goes down. Okay. And it's kind of like self-clean because if something falls out of that bucket because it gets too small in market cap, it just automatically gets kicked out and replaced with something else. Very simple mathematical formula. Now, it's kind of genius, that mathematical formula, but at the same time, it's kind of dumb. It can't think. It's just a mathematical formula, and it's just there's hard rules and just stays by those hard rules. I'm pretty sure an AI is going to get way, way more intelligent than an index fund. Definitely. So I think there's going to be these funds run by AI, which will become the new gold standard in the future. That's one of my predictions. When's it going to happen? Don't know, but I believe it will eventually happen. Now, I don't really care if that makes me obsolete. I don't care. My thesis is that, hey, I'm invested in AI. So the AI that replaces me is probably going to be produced by one of my investments. That means I'm going to benefit from that. Now, I won't get my 1.5% cut anymore, but I don't care because my assets that I hold will go up in such a great, the returns will be so great that it doesn't really matter. Like, and honestly, I'm not doing it for the 1.5% returns. I'm only invested on eToro because it's a great way for other people to jump on board with my investment vessel, and so they can get similar returns that I get. So far, being fortunate enough to be compounding at 30% every single year. Now, I believe that's going to continue for the foreseeable future. So if I just compound my assets at 30%, 30%, 30%, 30%, obviously it works out that I will eventually get extremely, extremely wealthy. So the 1.5% fee, it literally does not matter. Like, it's just a rounding error. Now, the crazy thing with AI is this gap here when it comes to the human mind, right? I believe there is a limit to the human mind, which is our genetics. Think of our brains like, they're like machines, okay? So what are what are the machines, like what are the brains for AI? It's like all the computer chips and all of that. Now, what's happening with the computer chips? They're still going up exponentially as well. So their brains, their machines, the AI's machines go up exponentially. They don't end. The human mind cannot evolve like that. The human mind cannot evolve exponentially. It's like hit a cap and like maybe somehow the brain can keep evolving. But evolution, if you believe in evolution, is an extremely slow process. Like computer chips can like double every 1 to 2 years. What do you mean? What do you mean? So if AI is down here, like every 1 to 2 years, it's doubling, 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 doubling. Very, 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 very quickly, you get way smarter than a human. Now, it's my belief that there kind of is no limit. So imagine that eventually the AI gets to here and then it gets equal to Elon Musk and then it's going to pass the guy. And then what do you need to do? You need to drag down on the scale. Okay. And AI will double that. And then what happens? You drag down on the scale again, and it just keeps on going and going and going. And it's just exponential. Like, as an example, I believe that, you probably are using things like ChatGPT very frequently, and you might be getting a lot of advice from it. Like, I get advice from it in all areas. I get legal advice, I get accounting advice, it's it helps with like everything. Like even it's built me like a marathon training program, and it's based on my personal needs, and I input into it. So it's like a coach. Like it's literally like a marathon coach. So yeah, it can do so many different verticals. Um, and yeah, I think AI will just keep on improving. And if we're using this for advice, guess who else is using it for advice? The presidents across the world. Okay, the CEOs. Now imagine this: presidents are probably not as smart as Elon Musk. Probably not. All right, or you can change it for any of the top performing people in the world. It doesn't have to be Elon Musk. Okay, obviously he's a very controversial figure. Now, I'd say on average, the best tech CEOs are smarter than the presidents, right? So the AI is going to surpass the president's ability faster than it's going to pass the tech CEO's ability. So there's going to come a time where obviously all the presidents right now they're getting advice from ChatGPT too. Then in a few years' time, I don't know exactly the time horizon, but presidents will be so heavily reliant on ChatGPT, or it could be a different AI, who knows, that eventually it's like, hey, the president types in, hey, what's your thoughts on this? Can you please help me understand what you think is the best thing to go with? Like, what's the best decision? And ChatGPT, instead of like spitting out a written answer, he'd be like, hey, I actually can't send you the written answer because it's just going to be too long. It's going to be too hard for you to explain. So here's like a short documentary which explains it from, point A to point B. So that's like, I know that this is going to be like an automated, generated documentary sort of thing, an educational piece, which is made for you as this person. So depending on who the person is, it can spit out a brand new one so you can absorb it best. That's quite a scary thought because you're kind of admitting that at that stage that AI has already surpassed you. But at least you can follow along because after watching, let's say that piece goes for like 45 minutes, I don't know, maybe 2 hours long, then you can kind of get it. But then past that, it may start getting to a place where it's like, it might say to you, hey, like, bro, like, honestly, you're just going to have to trust me on this one because there's so many moving pieces that you literally do not have the time or the ability to understand it. Like it's a year-long education process to understand this one topic. And by the way, you've got 20 different problems you need to understand. So if we do 20 times 1 year, you've wasted 20 years. So you're just gonna have to trust me on this. Now you can't understand it. You won't be able to get to understanding it. But you're gonna have to then just think, was I correct in the past? If the answer was yes, and I was more right than wrong, then you're just going to have to go based off of that. That is a crazy, crazy, crazy thought. So I don't know what the world's going to actually look like, but what I do know is it's probably most likely AI keep compounding, keep compounding, keep compounding, and it's just a matter of time until it passes our intelligence in all areas of life. And we will probably have to rethink how the whole entire world works. Um, I think the scale will just keep on going so much that all of us, we just look like a little blip on the chart. The most unintelligent person in the world compared to the most intelligent person, it will just look like one little dot. Okay. And AI will just keep on progressing more and more and more and more and more because the computer chips are getting smarter. And there's a certain point where the AI creates and improves itself. It's not going to be based on humans anymore because once they pass human intelligence, the AI will make itself better. And then it's like, it's even more exponential. Like it just keeps on going. Like it can make itself better in terms of the software, it can make itself better in terms of the computer chips. It's everything. So it's like compound effects everywhere, everywhere. So that's kind of the bull case that I see for AI. I think it's very humbling. It's honestly very frightening as well. That's why I truly believe if you don't have any allocation invested in AI, like I honestly believe you're doing it very, very wrong. Like I really believe investing in technology and AI is like insurance, but instead of you paying for the insurance, you get paid. Okay, you get paid. If all of this plans out to go really, really, really well, then there's going to be a world of abundance where everything is free. There's AI, robots, they do every single task for us. There's literally no point that we actually don't have to work anymore. I don't even know how money works at that stage. It's going to kind of be like a utopia. I hope we can get there. I really hope we can get there. I don't know. But along the way, AI is probably going to be the fastest growing asset class of all time. Now, our job as investors, or very specifically my job, is I want to find a way to capture those results. Now, it's very difficult because, all these different AI, it's like it could be a winner take all. I'm not sure. Um, but I feel like it's kind of more like medium term. It's called kind of more like the internet revolution, where there's lots of different winners. There's Amazon, there's Google, there's Meta, there's all of these different guys, Nvidia, all of that. Right? I kind of feel like it's the same with AI, and I feel like with AI, it's more based on who has the capital. Like pretty much every type of business, whoever's got the most capital. Why? Because it's very capital intensive. Like you got to have the computer chips, you got to have to afford the electricity costs, the energy costs, all of that. So who has that? Who has the ability to spend so big? It's all of big tech. All of big tech currently, they're trillion-dollar companies. Like, how are we going to compete against that? Like, imagine if I tried to compete. One, I don't have the money. Two, I don't have the intelligence. Like, it's game over. There's no point in me even trying. Even if I had $1 billion is nothing. You know, like what is it? Zucks is spending $100 million on singular players, singular boys. You know, that's insane. 100 mil just on one person to go join the team. That's insane. How are we going to compete with that? It's a wild, wild, wild thought. And then if you look at kind of like the incentives, well, we're kind of like backed into a corner here because honestly, we should probably find a way to create these rules of the game where it's like, hey, everybody, we need to pause this AI thing because we need to really reevaluate how we're going to go about it. But we can't. Why? Because China's going full throttle. They want to do what they want to do. So it backs the US into a corner of like, shit, we have no choice but to go full steam ahead. All right. And that's kind of like what Donald Trump is allowing to do. Right. And it's kind of like, if you think about it, it's like, it's kind of the right answer because you probably want the US to be the winner because, yeah, it goes to a uh, whole debate past there. But yeah, that's the beginning of the story. This is my overall thesis. The gap is just insane. The bull case for AI. I hope you understand it.